Good afternoon. Welcome back to Marty's Tying Bench. Today I'm once again putting together kits for this week's Vice Squad event, and this week I've chosen actually a favorite pattern of mine. This is a simple spent caddis. You know, we all fish the caddis hatches, but when those things are done mating and laying eggs if they can do all of that without getting eaten, they'll eventually die exhausted. Their wings will spread out and they'll fall to the water spent. And some of the bigger, shyer fish will tend to key in on these. I fish them as a dropper during the hatch, but fish them by themselves later in the evening when the egg-laying flights happen, because that seems to be when there are a few more of the spinners around. Now this is a size 16 hook, but it's an extra long shank, so it's more like a 14 or even almost a 12 in length. The thread is black, 6/0, 8/0, you can get by with either. For dubbing I'm using laser dub in a light olive. You can use any kind of dubbing you want. I prefer something that's a little bit shaggy, so I'll tie it with hare's ear, I'll tie it with the synthetic dubbings. In the smaller sizes I might use superfine. It's a little bit easier to use and neater. I don't need a whole lot of bulk on the body. I just get a tapered body. Now for wing material I'm using Parapost. Widow's Web will work, Antron yarn will work, Poly yarn works. I just chose this one because it's a good color, a slate gray, and it's already pre-bundled and just about the size of bundles I like for these wings. Now I'm tying this one in with a couple of turns, and those are actually on my side of the hook, and then I'll fold this over and get a crossing wrap, tending to pull the yarn down to the sides of the hook rather than up on top. And once you got that in there secure, I like to go under it with just a wrap that lifts them up just a little bit and tends to help this thing fall hook down. Now as I'm wrapping back, I'm wrapping up tightly against that tie-in point, which will sweep those wings back in kind of a delta shape. For length, I'm just going to stroke them back and get them in as tight a bundle as I can and cut them just a little bit longer than the hook length. There we go. Now I'm going to use just a little bit of hackle in between to imitate, you know, all the legs, antenna, all kinds of stuff hanging off of a dead caddis. And although you'll have a nice quality saddle hackle in your kit, this is why you save all your scraps, because just little hackle tips, the quality of this hackle doesn't matter that much. Like I said, it's just legs and antenna and such. So I'll just make a couple of turns, and you'll see that I crisscross them in between the wings. So they're scattered, going every which way, and that's the way they want them. We're not using this hackle for flotation, so a nice, neat, bushy hackle's not the goal here. There we go, almost done. Now for head, I switched to a darker color, and you can use natural peacock, you can use any dark dubbing. Today I've chosen a ice dub peacock. I'm going to stroke all of that back out of the way, and as I make these turns I'm making the back towards the wings, so that will help cement that delta shape into position. And when you look at the diameter, this is a little more bulbous than the body. Go ahead and make a bigger, fatter head. Whip finish. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim the hackle on the underside, so this thing hopefully will ride very flush in the water. Last step is take a look at my wings, see if there's anything egregiously long that needs to be trimmed. And there you have it, a simple spent caddis.